I am just a dumb American, politically. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I'm trying to do my due diligence, educate myself by watching these hearings. I want to know what's going on in my government. Why? Because right now I don't think, and you don't think, everyone seems to know what is the one thing constant that we know. Is that we don't know if we can trust anybody in our government. And right now I'm trying to educate myself by paying attention to these hearings. And I am dumbfounded by what I'm seeing. Now, when it comes to being appointed to the highest court in the land, the Supreme Court, a lifetime appointment where you can change my and my family and your family and my friends' lives forever, why, you don't have to answer a question. I hear questions being asked, and I hear words coming out of the mouth. But is there? It's like that game that chasing you're at Chuck E. Cheese and you're pounding the thing down and it's popping up. So answer this question. Oh, over here. And at the end of the day, all the senators are like, hey, how many points did you get? Did you hammer down any questions? Well, this guy got one sort of question answer, so he wins. That is ridiculous. I cannot believe. It reminds me of a story back when I was a kid, not a story, but it actually happened when in my early 20s. I was trying to get a job at a major retail toy outlet. Rhymes with yoys, rah, rah, rush. And I go in, they say, okay, fill out this application and then take this test. It was like a 2-hour test, personality test, trying to find out if you will be a good employee of the company and ask you all sorts of questions. Weird, random stuff that you never thought of. Like, if you found $1 or $5 bill in the street, would you A, take it to the police station and lost and found? Would you B, put signs up, I found your $5? Or C, would you go blow that $5 on lottery tickets? And you have to pick the one. You have to answer like 400 questions. And at the end of the day, they come back and they say, well, you would or you would not be a good candidate for an employee for like $5.15 an hour at that time. You got to go through all this, jumping through all these hoops. And when it comes to somebody being appointed lifetime, changing laws forever that affect every citizen in our country, that you don't have to answer any questions. How can this be? It kind of drives me nuts. Clerk at a toy store. The worst thing you have to do is, can you be trusted if you're going to ring up the right amount for the customer? Answer many, many questions. If you worked at a restaurant and an employee told you I was an immigrant who paid $5,000 to a mule to bring me over to this country, and now I'm working under a different social security number and a different name, my name really isn't Jesus, it's Juan. What would you do? Would you say, hey, right on, brother, rock on, I'd do the same? Or would you call somebody? Because that's illegal. They want to know to be an employee of a toy store. But when it comes to the highest court in the country, you don't have to answer anything. I mean, sure, you're talking and words are coming out, but it's no different than when my kid was in grade school and she had to write a 200-word essay, and the teacher comes back and says, well, it's 200 words, but 150 of them are the and ands and was and this and that's, and there's really no content in the story. And that's in grade school, that it's not the same thing for the highest court in the country. And again, I don't have any opinions. I don't know if this person is good or bad for my country. I know that it's my job. I know I hear opinions from the left or the right and this is that, but I want to, as trying to get more educated when it comes to politics, I want to listen for myself and make a decision. But, we can't trust the government right now. I'm trying to be trustworthy of the government, but all I get is non-answers and 1,000-page documents with a bunch of filler words trying to make it so complicated that I can't get more educated. Is that the point? Do you want me to be dumb? Do you want me to stay dumb? I don't know. But that is the feeling I'm getting. Now, simple thing, this harkens back to my marriage. I got married kind of early. You know, your parents say, excuse me, you should date and get to know the person before you marry them, before you lock in that lifelong commitment. Now I've been married 17 years, ups and downs, but when I think back to those early days, I think, yeah, maybe we should have dated longer than 3 months. But a story comes to mind, another current event. When we met, we were at this place and she wasn't drinking and I wasn't drinking, and she said, oh, you don't drink? And I said, yeah, no, I don't drink. Now, I didn't go into further detail that because I had a bad experience a few months earlier and I swore off beer forever. Yeah, I wasn't drinking at that point in my life, so I said, I don't drink. And 3 years later, you know, we're at my brother's house and my brother takes a drink of beer and then I grab his beer. I was like, oh, let me take a sip. And she looks at me with her jaw on the ground and says, I thought you don't drink. I said, well, I don't. I just had a sip of beer. No, you said you don't drink at all. I said, well, if I wanted to have a drink of beer, what's the big deal? She said, well, you told me you don't drink. You're a liar. And the D word started coming in, started talking about divorce. And I was like, are you kidding me? I mean, yeah, that was 3 years ago, but so what, if somebody doesn't give you an answer, why is that? Because chances are you're probably not going to like the answer. Now, my wife at the time wasn't really into alcohol, so she probably wasn't a good time to hear a story about, you know, vomiting and whatnot. So, yeah, I don't drink. That was an easy answer. But if I think in terms of this situation, highest court in the land, changing laws for all of us, why are we giving non-answers? And maybe it's because you won't like the answer they are giving you, right? Maybe it's because they don't want to be locked down to anything they said. If I could take it back, I obviously wouldn't have said, I don't drink. Because had I known 3 years from then, I would have been called a liar, I probably would have changed my answer. So now when it comes to lifetime appointments, changing laws of the land, they're giving non-answers. Why? Because 3 years from now, when they make a decision, they don't want you to go back on record and say, you lied. So they give non-answers today, so they can't be pinpointed down for anything and say, well, you know, actually, they didn't say anything 3 years ago. Well, in my parents' situation, you should probably date that person a little bit longer to get to know them before you marry them for the rest of your lives or commit them to a lifelong appointment forever. But again, I'm just a dumb American, doesn't know much about politics, trying to learn. But right, you don't want me to get answers, you don't want me to learn, maybe you want me to stay dumb. So that's key. We stay dumb. Well, all right, fine. I'll shut up and I'll stay dumb.